In this lecture, let's see how to use quantile scales in D3. So in the previous lecture, we have seen quantize scale, and there itself I have mentioned that there are 3 scales that we are going to discuss which provide discrete output for the provided continuous input. So in that lecture, we have seen how to use quantize scales in which the values fall into different buckets based on the provided output range. And in this lecture, we are going to see quantile scales. In case of quantile scales, instead of providing the minimum and maximum of the input domain, we need to provide the whole input itself. That is one basic difference. In all the previous scales we have seen, we provide only the minimum and maximum values of the input domain here. That is dot domain 0, 100. Here 0 is the minimum and 100 is the maximum we want. But in case of quantile scales, we provide the whole input array. That is, we need to provide quantized data or quantile data, whatever is the source of our input. And the difference between quantized scales and quantile scales is that in case of quantized scales, these inputs fall into different buckets based on their value, right? Here 1 falls into the first bucket because it is between 0 and 20, as there are 5 different colors. And 22, 26 and 39 fall into this second bucket because it is for values between 21 and 40. But in case of quantile data, these values will fall into different buckets based on their position. So as there are 5 values provided in the output and here there are 10 values, 10 divided by 5 means 2. So 2 values will fall into each bucket. So 1 and 22 will have red color, 26 and 39 green, 51 and 57 deep pink, 63 and 79 blue, and 82 and 99 yellow. So it is not based on the value but based on the position. Okay, so let me use the same array here as well. So where quantile data, and let me copy this. Actually, we can use the quantized data itself, but to avoid confusion, I am naming it like quantile data. And let me copy this and paste it here. Next, we are going to use the same output range itself. And here, let me define the quantile scale. So where quantile scale equals D3 dot scale quantile. Then for domain, how we should pass the values? It should be the whole array. So how I can specify? Dot domain. Instead of specifying the minimum and maximum, I need to specify quantile data. So the whole array is passed and the range is the same. So here I can specify dot range and it is output range itself. Now we have defined the quantile scale. Next, what we need to do, this is common SVG, and here we are actually joining it with quantized data, but in this case we need to join it with quantile data. Though both are same, we want to join it with quantile data. So one thing what we can do is I can cut this from here and add it here so that we can use this circles commonly, right? Because here we are joining the data separately for this quantized scale. Next, what we need to do, let me use this itself and change quantize to quantile. So let me copy this and paste it here because another row of circles will be displayed then. Okay, so instead of quantized data, I want to join with quantile data, and instead of quantized scale, I want to specify quantile scale. And also I want to increase the value of CY. Here it is 40. Now let me change it to say 100 so that it will be in the next row because 40 is already required for the radius and I'm specifying 40 plus 40 will be 80 to have some gap. 80 plus 20, 100. So let me save this and show you the output. See, now we are seeing 2 in red, 2 in green, 2 in pink, 2 in blue and 2 in yellow. Suppose I change these values, that is now it is 122, 26, 39 like that, right? Suppose I change this to 100, then 220, then 2650, that is 2650, then 39,689, then 51,485, then 5,76,892. I'm just specifying some random values, okay? Then 6,33,402, then 79,65,320, then 82,69,467, and finally 9 crores 95 lakhs 68,235. So I have specified some random values. Let me see the change now. Let me save this. See, still 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That is, 2 values fall into the first bucket, next 2 into the second bucket. These are placed into different buckets based on their position, not based on the values as in case of quantized data, right? So as there are 10 items and 5 values in the output range, each 2 fall into each bucket as we have seen here. So this is quantile scale, which provides discrete output for the provided continuous input. So we have seen 2 scales now. This is quantized scale and this is quantile scale. Next, we are going to see one more scale that provides discrete output for the provided continuous input, and that is threshold scale. As the name indicates, we can specify the threshold, that is the values up to which should fall into different buckets. So let's see that as well. For that, let me create another variable for the source of data. Let it be threshold data, and let me specify some values. Let the values be, say, 2, 95, then 125, 550, then 6,200, then 9,853, then 13,678, then 6,45,251. Now, how many values are there? 2, 4, 6, 8. Let me specify 2 more values. Let it be 58,62,303, then 9 crores 65 lakhs 87,983. I'm just specifying some random values, okay? Next, what we need to specify, we have to define our scale. So let that be var threshold scale, and it is D3 dot scale threshold. That is the name of the method we need to specify. Then we have to specify the domain. So in the domain, we can specify the threshold. So dot domain, and within square brackets, we need to specify the threshold we want. So let the values be 0, 10, then 1000, then 1 lakh, and finally 1 crore. So 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, 1 crore. So I have specified the domain, and I'm going to use the same output range. So dot range, I can specify output range. So here we have defined the threshold scale. So here what happens is that the values up to 0 will have the red color. Then values up to 10 will have green color. Values up to 1000 will have deep pink color. Values up to 1 lakh will have blue color, and values up to 1 crore will have yellow color. So let me copy this and paste it here, and instead of quantile data, let me make it threshold data, because that is the name of the variable here we have specified. Then this is threshold scale, and finally let me change this to 160 so that a new row of circles will be added. Now let me save this and show you the output. See, we are seeing green, deep pink, blue and yellow circles. There is no circle in red color. Why? Because the first threshold we have specified is 0, which means values up to 0 will be displayed in the first color. That is, this is the first threshold. So values below 0 will be displayed in red color. So let me remove one value from this list, and add a negative number, that is a number less than 0. Let it be, say, minus 67, and let's see the output. Save. See, now one circle is shown in red color, that is minus 67 is less than 0. That is the one circle shown in red color. Then values between 0 and 10 will be shown in green color. So there is only one value, that is 2, which is shown in green color, as you could see here. Next threshold is 1000. So values between 10 and 1000 will be shown in deep pink color. So there are 3 values between 10 and 1000. See, 95, 125 and 550. Those 3 values are shown in deep pink color, as you could see here. 3 circles are displayed in deep pink color. Next threshold is 1 lakh. That is, values between 1000 and 1 lakh will be displayed in blue color. So 6200, 9853 and 13678. 3 of these values fall into the 4th bucket, that is the blue color, and that is why we could see 3 circles in blue color. And finally, it is between 1 lakh and 1 crore. So there are 2 values and they are displayed in yellow color, as you could see here. So here, if we change the values, the colors of the circles will also be changed, right? So let us try to do some changes. As you could see here, there are 3 values in deep pink, right? So let me make the 3rd value, that is this 2, 9. So it will also fall into the 2nd bucket, right? The 2nd threshold is 10, which means between 0 and 10 will fall into the 2nd bucket. So 2 and 9 will fall into the green bucket, and hence 2 circles now will have green and 2 circles now will have deep pink color. Let's see that. I haven't saved it. Let me save that and show you. See, 2 circles are now displayed in green and 2 are displayed in deep pink. So here, in case of threshold scales, we can specify the threshold up to which values fall into which bucket. And here, as we have specified 5 colors in the output range, there come 5 buckets and different values fall into different buckets. So now we have seen 3 different scales, and they are quantized scale, quantile scale and threshold scale. All these 3 scales provide discrete output for the provided continuous input. The quantized scale provide different buckets based on the minimum and maximum. Here the minimum is 0 and maximum is 100, and there are 5 values in the output range. So 100 divided by 5 means 20, so that values between 0 and 20 fall into first bucket, 21 and 40 second, like that it goes. In case of quantile scales, the values fall into different buckets based on their positions, and in case of threshold scale, we can specify the threshold, and based on the threshold, the values fall into different buckets. So these are the 3 different scales that provide discrete output for the provided continuous input, and they are quantized scale, quantile scale and threshold scale.